you. Hi everyone, and welcome to today's live Zoo to You. Today's Zoo to You is brought to you by MIFA on behalf of the U Fund College Investing Plan. You can learn more about the plan by following the link in the caption of our video. So for today's Zoo to You, we are going to be talking all about our rescued bald eagle Sisko. So if you have any questions about him, please feel free to type them in the comments and we will do our very best to answer them for you. So Sisko here is around 25 years old and he is a rescued bald eagle. If you are familiar with our animals here at Stone Zoo, you might know that we have a great deal of rescued animals. That includes Sisko, our black bear brothers, Bubba and Smokey, Blue, the cougar, and our giant African spur-thighed tortoises. So we have a good deal of rescued animals. And a lot of comments we get are about Sisko's habitat here at the zoo and the fact that it is not very tall. And that was built very deliberately for a bald eagle like Sisko who cannot fly. So you might notice that if Sisko does stretch out his wings, he is a wing amputee. Part of one of his wings is missing. Sisko was a wild eagle living down in the southern United States, and unfortunately he was involved in a car strike. So a car did hit him as he was flying, and because of that, wildlife rehabilitators had to intervene and do an amputation on his wings. So since one of his wings is amputated, he is not able to fly. Everything in his habitat here at the zoo has been especially built for an eagle that is not flighted. So that's why everything is very low to the ground and accessible for him, because he is unable to fly. Since he cannot fly, he would not be able to survive out in the wild. He wouldn't be able to stay safe or find his food. I think his perch is a little slippery, so he's showing us that he cannot fly away. He does have to hop back up. So we were really happy to provide him with a home here at the Stone Zoo, and we're very grateful to those wildlife rehabilitators and U.S. Fish and Wildlife for taking such great care of him. And I wanted to talk a little bit about eagles since they are our national symbol and we are gearing up for Independence Day, and talk a little bit about their history in the United States. Now, bald eagles became our national symbol all the way back in 1782, and at that time there were probably around 50,000 wild bald eagles, and unfortunately those numbers started to decline pretty rapidly. Bald eagles did have a number of threats and continue to have some threats, including illegal shooting and hunting, habitat destruction, lead poisoning, and poisoning through the use of DDT, which is a pesticide that was used pretty commonly in the United States. Because of all of those different threats, by 1963, their numbers were reduced to just 416 pairs of bald eagles. So we went from around 50,000 to less than 1,000 bald eagles. They were protected through the Bald Eagle Protection Act in 1940, and when the Endangered Species Act came about in 1973, they were protected through the Endangered Species Act. In 1972, the use of DDT was banned in the United States, largely due to environmentalists like Rachel Carson. You might be familiar with Rachel Carson's book Silent Spring, and that pesticide was banned, protecting the eggshells of many birds, including bald eagles. bald eagles were delisted. They are a wonderful example of a conservation success story. They were taken off the endangered species list because of those amazing recovery efforts put into place. And now, U.S. Fish and Wildlife estimates their population to be over 300,000 individual bald eagles and around 71,000 nesting pairs, which is really, really exciting. Their numbers have bounced back quite a bit. They definitely still do have some threats. Unfortunately, illegal shooting continues to be a threat to bald eagles, and so does lead in the landscape. There are still lead bullets that they might encounter and things like lead fishing weights that are used with fishing. So something that you can do to help bald eagles living out in our own backyards. They live all over the place. In fact, we have wild bald eagles that fly over Stone Zoo pretty frequently. If you are fishing, to clean up some of those weights. Don't leave anything behind. And if you're going for a walk out in nature, if you see pieces of trash, pick up those pieces of trash. Let's continue to have really healthy waterways that will benefit so many animals just like our bald eagles. Now, do we have any questions about our bald eagles?
We do have one question. What does Sisko bald eagle eat?
What does he eat? So here at the zoo, he gets fed a carnivore diet that includes some ground meat. He also gets fed things like rats, mice, and fish. They are carnivores. One of my favorite things about bald eagles is that they do cast a pellet like owls do. So when they eat animals, all of those undigestible pieces, like the fur and bones, they will cast a pellet and kind of cough up in a big, giant eagle pellet.
We did have another question about whether bald eagles, do they work together to raise chicks?
Do they work together to raise chicks? They do. They do work together to raise their chicks. There are some different nature centers around the United States that will sometimes have a webcam and like a live stream of eagle nests. So it's really cool to check in and kind of see those chicks as they hatch, to see their parents taking care of them, and then eventually to see them fledge and get ready to leave the nest. All right, well, we are just about out of time, but I want to thank you all so much for joining us for today's Zoo to You. We are open tomorrow, Independence Day, July 4th. So please come to the zoo and see Sisko for yourselves. And I hope that everybody watching really enjoys this Independence Day. Thanks so much for tuning in.